the whole theme of this whole thing is the people. That's literally what the military becomes. Is the people.
This is Fredrick Freeman. You want to just introduce yourself a little bit and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Fredrick Freeman. I'm in the military. I'm in the United States Air Force over at Stratton, 109th Taylor Wing out in Scotia, New York. I guess Schenectady. That's what some people refer to as, people that live in this area. I did, so before, I work in finance right now. But originally I was a cop, and currently my full-time job is in finance, but on the weekends I work in IT in the military. So all my career has been in the military. Maybe some few odd jobs here and there when I was in full-time in the military. But
what made you join the military?
The high school I went to originally was the military school. It was a military high school, and it was Army driven. So everybody that was there was prior Army, and so when I was there from 9th grade to 10th grade. Sorry, I'm scratching my legs because I just took my socks off and it feels so good. But everybody that was there was they were Army or Marine actually. I left there, went to another high school, Colony, and then I was there for 12th grade till I graduated. When I graduated, I went to college for a little bit, and I felt like there was something missing because I always wanted to do like something, like I wanted to do something crazy. Like I wanted to deploy, I wanted to do all that stuff, like military lifestyle. I liked it when I was in high school, so I figured I was like, hey, let me start looking. So I met one of my friends, one of my good friends. His brother was in the military. And he was like, oh, hey, there's a base over here, this is what they do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, that sounds pretty good. Let me try, let me see. So, because it wasn't like, yo, let me try out, because you can't try out for it. You got to either you do it or you don't do it. So I came in, I raised my right hand, I signed the dotted line, and that was it.
What are the benefits, you think, from this career choice? And you told me a little bit while you're showing around.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
so benefit. I mean, there's a ton of benefit. So there's a lot of commodity here. There's a lot of commodity here that you built. Because everybody that you work with, if you're working 8-hour shifts, just like an organization. Because the military is an organization. You spend a lot of your time with these people, so they essentially become a family, right? That's one. Two, the educational aspect. The military is always pushing for education. It's always pushing for professional development, right? So you get people that leave the military that start their own businesses, right? You get people that leave the military that become professional speakers, motivational speakers, whatever the case is. And then on top of that, the retirement, right? You always have to think with the end in mind, and it's just most of the people in here in the military that I've met so far, my mentors, people I've picked to be my mentor in the military, every single one of them that have left the military ended up going out doing something bigger, right? After they left it, because they always thought that what they're doing right now is big, but they took the knowledge that they took from here and went outside and implemented it and made it bigger than themselves, right? That's what the military gives you, but it becomes different for everybody. So for me personally, I'm getting my education paid for right now. I'm any school that I want to go. All the schools that I've been going to lately. My supervisors have been all 110% about it, supportive. Hey, let's send him out, because I when I go, you come back and you bring that feedback, right? You share your knowledge, you share what you learned, right? You to basically let the people that send you to the school feel like, hey, it was something good. It wasn't just, he didn't just go to BS. He went to go learn something. So I'm, and then on top of that, I take all that stuff, and then after my 20, 30, 40 years, whatever the case is that I'm in here for, I can always take that stuff and bring it to the outside and help people. Because me personally, I think that's that's the real definition of, being a human being is, helping mankind, right? Helping mankind, that's what it is.
Who are some of your inspirations?
Who are some of my inspirations?
Or do you have currently any mentors or some books that you're reading that you want to share? Drop some knowledge, some gold out there.
Mentors. So right now there's one of our chief. So what a chief is, he's the highest command chief. So he's the highest enlisted person on our base right now. Command Chief Richardson. That guy, he's always dropping gold nuggets. You go to his office. He has books. He has a shelf of books. So he's like a librarian. You go to his office. He's like, hey, you start talking to him. He's like, hey, you know what? I think this book will help you with your problems. And every book on the shelf he's read. And the man is, he's had an extensive military career. Anything that you think you're going through that you don't think that anybody has ever gone through it, he has, right? And that's how. It works with everybody that's on the top, right? So Command Chief Richardson is probably one of the people. My current chief that I have also, Chief Gioqueno, he's a people person, right? Master Sergeant Tangretti, she's an unenlisted person. She's like a mom, she'll tell you she'll give you the tough love. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She'll give you the tough love. There's a lot. Even people that are, and that's one thing I learned from my MTI, Staff Sergeant Rodriguez. One thing that he said when I was getting out of basic training, or when we were getting out of basic training, was that bad teachers are good teachers because they teach you what not to do.
Hey.
Right? So in any organization, you're going to always have either the 5% or the 1% that's bad. The only way that you change that outlook, or you change that from the future, is looking at them and saying, okay, this person, they have 3 more years, they're on their way out the military, or they're on their way out the organization. When I get there, I'm not going to do that. And you hold yourself responsible for that, right? You hold yourself responsible for those words that you just put out in the universe, right? Because that's the only way that you change that organization. And then once you get people underneath you that come in, you see them building that negative mentality, or that negative persona and all that stuff. You break that habit, by sitting them down and, like I said, being a human being, understanding. Because at the end of the day, in the military, we're big about morale. Like, what can we do to make people feel important? Because when people feel important, things get accomplished, right? So what can we do to make people feel, important? So we do morale things, right?
You mentioned habits. What do you think about habits? What are some good habits that maybe the military help pick up?
Waking up,
bad habits.
Waking up early every morning. So the military, we always say that you have very little people. You work with very little resources, right? And resources-wise, budget-wise, we're very limited on our budget. Right? We don't have that much budget because they have to spread it across all the other branches, all the other air forces and all that stuff. But at the same time, the people, we have a very small amount of people doing very, very little, right? Very small amount of people doing a lot, right? So the people are spread so thin, and their days are stretched out longer, right? With that being said, like you learn how to grind when you've only had an hour of sleep or when you only had 2 hours of sleep. You know, and I think people that would understand would be people that either have gone through it or people that have been in the military, right? I don't know, because I've never been a med school student before, right? I've never been somebody working on my PhD or whatever, but like right now one of my commanders, he's doing his PhD, he's doing his master's program, and he works 12 hours a day, right? So he'll go home, do his master's program, 2 hours of sleep, and then come back and grind. You know what I mean? It's a different beast, but the military prepares you for that. You know, prepares you to hit the ground running with only an hour of sleep, right? Because you have your brothers relying on you. I've been on the outside. I've worked on the outside before, and the family, the bond that you have here is totally different than it is on the outside. Because on the outside, if somebody's it works in finance, right? They're never gonna go to Afghanistan and deploy and, you know, thinking that they're gonna be shooting the enemies or shooting whatever. You know what I mean? But whatever difference that you have is put aside because that person is your wingman, right? That person to your left, that person to your right is your brother or your sister that you depend on to bring you home, or they depend, you know, on you to bring them home. You know what I mean? So I've learned to appreciate people, value relationships, learn to establish better relationships, right? It's just been very, very. I'm very grateful to be part of that 1% of the Americans that serve in the military. You know, and my brothers and sisters that I have to my right and my left. So, yeah.
So, what are some hobbies and passions of yours?
Oof.
Let's try to make people relate. You're relatable out that they could someday be in your position. So,
when I first joined the military, I never messed with a gun before, right? I know right now that's a big issue in the U.S. You know, gun law, gun regulation, and all that stuff. I never messed with a gun before and everything like that. And as soon as when I was in basic training, we learned how to shoot. You know, being a cop, we had to go to the firing range. I came here, we went out to go do some firing range. Currently, I fly now. Every people always ask you, you know, that when you tell them that you're in the Air Force, they ask you. The first thing they ask you, oh, do you fly a plane? Do you fly a plane? But I can tell them that I fly a plane, but not everybody in the Air Force flies a plane, right? But and I was telling Justin earlier, I love education, right? I love education. I love learning from people, right? Getting experience through people, because that's another way where you can get an experience through somebody without actually spending any money, right? Through their point of view, through their eyes. But the military the military is the only organization that I feel like if you wanted to do anything that you wanted to do under the sun, right? You wanted to be an astronaut, you could do it. You could be an astronaut, right? You wanted to drive a boat without spending money, go and actually buy a boat, you could do that. You wanted to fly a helicopter, you could do that, right? Of course, you have to have a college degree and all that stuff, but you want to be a mechanic on an aircraft or on a boat or in a vehicle, you could do that, right? You want to be a cop, you could do that. You want to be a medic. You want to be a medic that saves people in the aircraft while the aircraft is mobile, you could do that. You can't do that in a hospital. You know what I mean? Unless if you're in a helicopter and, you know, paramedic on a helicopter. But we have aircrafts that are literally in the air that are hospitals. You know what I mean? The military is the only thing that allows you to. So with that being said, my hobbies, I love going out to the range to go shoot. I love going in the aircraft to go fly. You know what I mean? I've developed those hobbies by talking to other people that actually do it. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go out and spend money and test it out, right? Because a kid doesn't learn how to walk without seeing somebody else walking. You know, maybe one day it doesn't hit a baby, you know, and be like, oh, you know what? Hey, you know, today I'm gonna just try to get up and start walking on my 2 feet. No, the baby sees other people doing that stuff, and then it develops that habit. Okay, I gotta start getting up because this is what everybody else is doing, so this is what I gotta do, right? Hey, I see everybody saying all this stuff, but what is coming out of my mouth, I can't say. So I gotta try to formulate. You know, my brain has to formulate what's coming out of these people, so I can connect with these people and talk to them. You know what I mean? You see other people, you see the habits and things that people are doing, you start picking up, whether if it's good or bad, you start picking up, and then you formulate that, and then it becomes a habit and stuff like that. But the only way to do that is talking to the people that you have. So I know the whole theme of this whole thing is the people. That's literally what the military becomes, is the people. You know, it's the people, the people, the people. That's what the military is. It's another family that you don't have to be born into, right? You have to be chosen. You have to be committed, right? You have to want to do it, right? But once you have all your ducks in a row and everything like that, they open their arms and they just welcome you in. You know, you become part of them. You know, so it's awesome. It's awesome. It's good stuff.
Awesome. That's some good stuff. Drop some knowledge. Thank you.
Good stuff, no doubt, bro. No doubt.
All right, that was our talk with Freddy. Remember him? So he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, bro.
And he dropped some great stuff, some things that we talked about recently. And everybody go and thank him. You want to give any shout outs or anything of where people can find you?
Yeah. I'm gonna be on Jay's I'm gonna be subscribing to his YouTube actually. I just subscribed it. So I'm gonna be putting some comments and all his stuff when he drops it. So I'm gonna be on you. I'm gonna be on that. I got YouTube tag, but I don't have no channel though. So don't be subscribing to nothing.
Anything else?
Nah, it's all good.